Did you know that a small difference in your brain could completely change the course of your life? It might sound extreme, but it's true. The effects of alcohol on your brain are far more profound than most people realize. In today's video, we're comparing the brain of an alcoholic to a healthy one, and let me tell you, it's a shocking contrast. Alcohol doesn't just affect your body, it attacks the very organ that controls everything, your brain. You may have thought it was just about a few drinks, but the impact is deep and lasting. What happens inside your brain when you drink heavily, and what does a healthy brain look like in comparison? Stay with us as we uncover the shocking differences, and show you why it's never too late to make a change. The good news is you can still take control of your brain's future. And here's a fun challenge for you. Drop a comment below telling us what you think your brain would look like after a night of heavy drinking versus a night of healthy habits. Would it be more like a shriveled raisin or a well-packed suitcase? Maybe it's a brain that's had a spa day, or one that needs a good detox. Get creative with your answers, and let's see who can come up with the funniest or most unexpected comparison. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Let's start by talking about the immediate effects of alcohol on the brain. When you drink, your brain doesn't just sit back and relax. It goes into a full-on chaos mode. Alcohol affects your central nervous system, slowing down communication between neurons. You know that feeling when you can't quite put your thoughts together or your words don't quite come out the way you mean? That's alcohol messing with your brain's ability to process information quickly. It's like trying to run a marathon while wearing flip-flops, just not efficient. And sure, you might think it's all fun and games at first, but alcohol also messes with your reflexes and judgment. You might find yourself doing things like trying to jump into a pool without checking if there's actually water in it. Trust me, we've all been there. But here's where it gets real. These immediate effects don't just disappear after the buzz wears off. Alcohol doesn't just create a temporary mess. It starts to change the structure of your brain. One area it loves to target is the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. This is why alcohol can make you say things like, "I'm totally fine to drive," or "Let's text our ex. It'll be fun." Spoiler alert, it's not. Your brain, however, is like that one friend who refuses to listen to reason. Even if your body is screaming, "Stop," alcohol turns off the safety switches, leaving your brain to make some very questionable decisions. And it doesn't stop there. Over time, drinking regularly starts to shrink critical brain areas, especially those responsible for memory and learning. So, that night you couldn't remember if you left your keys on the table or in your bag. Yeah, alcohol might have had something to do with that. Think of it like this. The more you drink, the more your brain becomes a little like an old sponge, dry, brittle, and incapable of soaking up new information. It's like trying to remember your best friend's birthday while your brain is busy losing all its data like an old, cluttered hard drive. The good news? The damage isn't permanent. Well, at least not all of it. Your brain can start to heal when you give it the chance. But it takes time. In fact, studies show that the brain can begin to repair itself after just a few months of sobriety. So, imagine this. You give your brain a little break and suddenly it's functioning better, feeling clearer, and working its way back to its original healthy state. So yeah, the brain is pretty resilient, kind of like a smartphone battery that lasts way longer when it's not constantly running on low power. Now, let's get into the emotional side of alcohol and the brain. You've probably heard that alcohol is a mood booster, right? But let's be real, it's more like a temporary mood booster, the kind that leaves you scrambling for the charger the moment it runs out of juice. Sure, you have a few drinks and suddenly you feel like you're the life of the party, the king or queen of the world. But the real question is, how long does that last? Alcohol messes with your serotonin and dopamine levels, which are the two key chemicals in your brain that help regulate mood and happiness. You've probably experienced it. You're having the time of your life, enjoying the night, and then out of nowhere it all crashes down. The next morning, you feel like you've just run a marathon and your emotional state is left in shambles. It's like your happiness got deleted from the system. That's alcohol draining all the good feelings right out of your brain. And here's the kicker. Alcohol doesn't just steal your happiness for a day. It makes it harder for your brain to get back on track. When alcohol interferes with your serotonin levels, it sets the stage for longer-term mood issues, things like anxiety, depression, or mood swings. Ever had one of those days when your emotions are all over the place and you can't pinpoint why? You think, "I'm fine, really I'm fine," but deep down you feel off. Alcohol might be contributing to that instability. Imagine your brain as the DJ at a party, happily playing your favorite songs. Then alcohol shows up and starts hitting the skip button over and over again, switching between sad, annoying tracks that leave you feeling drained. One minute you're having fun, laughing, and the next you're crying over a dog food commercial. What? because alcohol messed with your emotional playlist. But wait, there's hope. The good news is that your brain has the ability to bounce back, and it's not as complicated as you might think. When you stop drinking, your brain's emotional centers start working properly again. Imagine you've been trying to play a video game with a broken controller. It doesn't work, right? But then you get a new controller and suddenly the game becomes fun again. That's how it is with your brain. Once alcohol stops interfering, your emotional regulation begins to stabilize. Your brain starts to make better decisions and you start feeling more in control of your emotions. It's like upgrading your software. It's cleaner, faster, and it works better. And it doesn't happen overnight, but with time, the improvements are huge. Just think about the last time you tried to make a decision under the influence of alcohol. Maybe you sent that text to your ex, or maybe you decided to run around the block in flip-flops. Who knows? But that's the type of judgment your brain is making when it's under the spell of alcohol. But when alcohol is no longer in the picture, you can start making decisions with clarity, without that foggy brain or those emotional roller coasters. It's like your brain gets to reboot and start fresh. The real magic, though, comes from understanding why you reached for alcohol in the first place. Alcohol is often used as a way to escape stress, anxiety, or difficult emotions. It's like buying a glow-in-the-dark yoga mat at 2 a.m. because it feels like it's going to solve everything. But guess what? The glow-in-the-dark yoga mat is not going to fix the real problem. Alcohol doesn't fix the underlying issue, it just buries it deeper. The real change comes when you face those emotions head-on without using alcohol as a crutch. Picture this: replacing an old, glitchy phone that keeps freezing, thanks to alcohol, with a brand new top-of-the-line model. Suddenly, everything works perfectly. Your brain's memory improves, your mood stabilizes, and the emotional fog lifts. Your decision-making process gets sharper, and you stop making decisions you'll regret in the morning. And here's something you may not have realized: without the constant interference of alcohol, your brain has more room to create, to think clearly, and to process emotions more effectively. You might feel like the fog is lifting and your creativity has been given a breath of fresh air. So, instead of defaulting to drinking when things get tough, you'll find yourself facing life's challenges with a more positive and clear mindset. Your brain will be working in your favor instead of fighting you at every step. It's a shift that starts small, but over time, it creates lasting change. You might even find yourself one day looking back and thinking, "Wow, I'm so glad I took control and let my brain do its job." If you've made it this far, congratulations, you've just stared into the void and survived to tell the tale. But the real question now is, what are you going to do with it? The void isn't just a concept, it's an opportunity. So here's your call to action. Share your own thoughts and experiences with the void in the comments below. How have you faced it? Did you try to fill it with glow-in-the-dark yoga mats or sourdough bread like the rest of us? Or maybe your void has its own unique personality. If it could text you, what would it say? Would it be cryptic like "still waiting," or oddly supportive like "you've got this"? Let's get creative. And if you've been inspired by this video, why not keep the momentum going? Click over to our next video where we explore how to turn uncertainty into growth. It's the perfect follow-up to everything we've uncovered here. Don't let the void have the last word. Take action, share your story, and join the conversation, because the void isn't just about emptiness, it's about possibility. And that next video might just be the spark you're looking for.